Two buses belonging to the entourage for rapper Lil Wayne came under gunfire. Prosecutors say a simmering rap feud and gang tensions led to it.
Lil Wayne basically needs no introduction. He's one of the coolest rappers on the planet. Self-proclaimed pussy monster and experimental fitness coach.
Just lifting these blunts every day out there.
But in 2015, somebody decided to show no love to Mr. Carter and shoot up his tour bus after a show in Atlanta. A man named Jimmy Winfrey, aka PeeWee Roscoe, was picked up for the shooting. Now, from the outset, this case looks easier to close than a Maybach trunk.
Internet's the trunk closed itself!
Things get a little bit murky when you realize that PeeWee is plugged in with some of your favorite rappers. PeeWee Roscoe first came under the hip-hop microscope in 2009 when he appeared in the short-lived Atlanta reality show Road to Redemption. This show followed Atlanta hip-hop legend, Hollywood actor, and mobile gun store operator T.I. in the lead up to his sentence in prison for getting caught with a trunk full of dicks.
T.I., whose real name is Clifford Harris, was trying to add 3 machine guns and 2 silencers to his arsenal when they arrested him in a Midtown Atlanta parking lot.
T.I. tries to scare troubled youth out of the street life. And in the first episode, he actually sets PeeWee up with a fake arrest and jail sentence.
Just got real.
It's in your front pocket. Right here for me. You back up against the wall.
Hey, maybe Roscoe would have been turned off of the street life if T.I. set him up with a fake soap in the shower scenario. T.I. formed a mentor relationship with PeeWee and set him up with some legitimate connections in the music industry. Through T.I., PeeWee linked up with Young Thug and eventually got a legitimate gig as his road manager. It's also around 2012 that PeeWee Roscoe got plugged in with Cash Money head honcho, Lil Wayne's original mentor, and Human Tattoo Gone Wrong compilation, Birdman. It's really unclear at this point what PeeWee actually does. It's a whole bunch of pictures of him driving Rolls Royces, riding on private jets, wearing rollies, and hanging out with some of the biggest names in hip hop. He's hanging out with Meek Mill, Justin Bieber, and even the best rapper of all time, Big Draco! We all know that Birdman discovered Lil Wayne in his early days, gave him his first record deal, hell, he even gave him his first kiss. And it's no secret that Young Thug has always idolized Lil Wayne. So when the opportunity to work with Birdman came along, Thug jumped at the chance. It was around 2014 when Young Thug's song Stoner and Danny Glover were popping off in the streets that rumors started to appear that he was going to sign to Birdman's Cash Money Records. Well, it turned out that Thug's claims of being signed to Cash Money was straight cap. He later went on to sign a deal with 300 Entertainment. Now, it was in March 2014 when Thug basically came out and said that he was going to name his album The Carter 6. If you know Lil Wayne, you'll know that his real name is Dwayne Carter, and his series of his most successful and famous albums is called The Carter. Carter 4 came out in 2011 and fans had been waiting feverishly for the next installment, The Carter 5, to come out. So in September 2014, Thug decides to double down on his stupid comment, despite the fact that he's not signed to Cash Money Records, no proof that he's ever even worked with Lil Wayne, and of course, his name is definitely not Carter, making him about as much of a Carter as Detective James Carter from Rush Hour. It's then in December of 2014, Lil Wayne comes out and basically says that he's being held against his will at Cash Money, that he wants to release The Carter 5, but he's not allowed to because of a contractual dispute. So on January 25th, 2015, Wayne comes through with that smoke and files a $51 million lawsuit against Birdman, and he wants to take his Young Money, Cash Money artists with him. Only a couple of small names, Nicki Minaj and Drake. The day after Wayne files that lawsuit, things start to get real smoky. That night, Lil Wayne is having a listening party for his new mixtape, Sorry for the Wait 2, at the Versace mansion in Miami. He drops a tweet telling people they should go to his party and not to Birdman's Rich Gang party that's also going on at Club Live that same night.
Yeah, tonight we're going to Miami with Bloody Bird, bitch. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be at Live. So if you ain't at Live, nigga, you ain't living. Any other club, that shit ain't nothing. Whoever don't like it, pull up, fuck.
March the 17th, Thug's label puts out a statement saying that his album is definitely going to be called The Carter 6. Lil Wayne's daughter comes out saying that that ain't happening. April 2015, at the start of the month, Wayne makes back-to-back disses. First saying fuck Cash Money at a show in Florida.
Carter 5 coming soon. Fuck Cash Money.
Next week, Young Thug releases an unusual album cover for The Carter 6, which is basically just him standing there naked. Lil Wayne immediately gets on stage and says, fuck him.
If y'all ever have Rich Gang or whoever it is in this motherfucker, y'all let them know I said, fuck him. And stop listening to songs of niggas that pose naked on their motherfucking album.
A couple of days after that appearance, Thug is forced to change the title of his album from The Carter 6 to Barter 6 in response to a lawsuit supposedly filed by Lil Wayne. Thug then drops a pretty unusual video where he says he's releasing the album as planned, that he's going to be in Holly Grove, which is Wayne's hometown, and that he's going to come through with them dicks, and Wayne should meet him there.
Can't name the mixtape Carter 6, cause these fuck ass niggas trying to sue. Friday, first show. New Orleans, Holly Grove, fuck nigga. Meet me there, better yet, beat me there, you did. With them dicks too, nigga. Yeah.
4 days later, Thug drops the album with the new title, Barter 6. 3 days after that, whilst performing, Lil Wayne says Thug can suck his dick, and I'm assuming that he actually means his dick and not his gun.
If there were any other albums that dropped recently, tell them I say suck my dick. Ain't no motherfucking such thing as Carter 6. You let them know Tunchi says suck my dick.
And then 6 days after this, it goes down. April 26, 2015, and Lil Wayne is performing in Atlanta at a place called The Compound.
He says, how about this talk? Make some motherfucking
Exactly while this is going on, Thug is in Louisiana, Lil Wayne's home state, playing a show where he gets thoroughly booed off stage by a crowd that were chanting for Lil Wayne.
We still love you. This is my lifestyle.
Now at this point, Thug's road manager and homeboy PeeWee Roscoe drives to the compound with some other Blood members, and he's seen pulling up in a white Camaro, and the cops spot an assault rifle in his car. At the venue, there's an altercation where PeeWee is heard shouting, "This is my city, keep fucking around and I'll spray the bus." And I assume he doesn't mean that in the Grand Theft Auto sense. The cops decided to give a police escort to Lil Wayne's tour buses to get him onto the highway. One of the cops report that the same white Chevy Camaro that PeeWee pulled up in is following them at high speed along the highway. Once the buses passed into a new jurisdiction of Cobb County, the police had to leave them behind, and it was at this point that the white Camaro pulled up and let off those dicks. Now allegedly at this point, that white Camaro turned off onto a different road. PeeWee made a phone call to a phone number that was linked to Birdman and fled to Miami. After the shooting, PeeWee got hit with a savage indictment that included around 30 different counts. This included the actual shooting itself, as well as making terroristic threats, purely for his appearance in Young Thug's halftime video.
Fuck nigga, try me, I swear I got Lil Woody, pull up and pop at it, nagging.
As well as that original video where Thug says that he's gonna pull up with them dicks, and we actually see PeeWee on screen with a gun at this point.
With them dicks too, nigga. Yeah.
Now, both Thug and Birdman are mentioned several times in the indictment, though they are not actually implicated specifically in any of the crimes or shootings. Now, the only comment that Thug actually made about his involvement in this incident is a September 2015 interview with GQ. When he's asked directly about whether he had something to do with the shooting, his response is simple: fuck no. One of the most shocking and frankly confusing thing is the phone calls. Now, this information has only come out years after the incident from the civil lawsuit filed by the bus driver Alvin Lewis, who claims that PeeWee did this shooting on behalf of Birdman in exchange for $250,000 and a Porsche. According to phone records, around 3 a.m., about 12 minutes before the shooting took place, Young Thug called PeeWee 8 times. Now, we shouldn't be quick to judge because in my experience, anybody leaving 8 missed calls at 3 a.m. is probably just making an innocent booty call. This isn't a good look, especially considering the fact that PeeWee called a phone number owned by Birdman literally minutes after the shooting took place. But the biggest mindfuck of all relating to this case is a leaked recording that came out as part of this civil lawsuit between Birdman and PeeWee.
And get this money, nephew. Well, my nigga, you done blessed. You did everything you could do, bro. It's an eye opener, bro. You know what I'm saying? While you're on that strictly business, man.
Some people are saying that this is the call that happened minutes after the shooting. Other people are saying this is a call that happened much later while PeeWee was in jail. Birdman has obviously denied any involvement in this incident.
This indictment that people are saying that is actually like accusing you.
It's like the craziest shit that I've ever heard in my life.
So what do you make of that? And can you, like...
I don't make nothing of it because I don't get caught up in it.
What do you think happened then on the bus that day with the shooting?
I don't know, sweetheart.
PeeWee actually ended up pleading guilty to 6 of those charges relating to this incident and was sentenced to a pretty hefty 20-year prison sentence. In 2018, this conviction was actually overturned because it turned out the judge had actually put undue pressure on PeeWee to take a plea deal. Did Young Thug and Birdman try to kill Lil Wayne? Maybe, We might find out if this case ends up going back to trial and if Pee-wee pleads innocent. When I first saw the headline, Pee-wee shoots up Lil Wayne's tour bus, I thought, finally, the sequel to Pee-wee's Big Adventure that I can get behind. If you like that video and you want to see more from me, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button below and smash that notification bell so you can see when I upload new videos immediately. Thanks very much and peace out.